All right, here we go again. It's December 3rd, 2025, 8:13 p.m. Now we're in Acts chapter 2. Just so you know where I'm coming, because I'm going all over the Bible. I read out of the concordance of the Bible, and I'm on the letter B, and I looked, hold on, and I started November 7th of 2024. And I have read all these chapters over again. I got the verses, but I read the whole entire chapters when I get to them. And looking back, I don't know, months ago, I came across Acts chapter 2. So I read it whenever I was reading Baptized. So it was a few pages ago, quite a few pages ago. But still, maybe within 6 months. So all of these, not all of them, but the chapters that I'm reading, I've read probably most of them, or a good share of them, in the past year. So for me to miss something and just skip over it is unlikely. I mean, I'm sure there's probably some things I do, but I mean, with all the changes, like especially like when I'm finding like 10 changes in the same chapter, there's no way I missed 10 things just a few months ago. It might have been 6 months ago, but still, I'm not going to miss all those things. And like when I was reading Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus back in 2020, 2021, I was noticing stuff right away. And I know I haven't read the Old Testament in a long time. So now this one is from Acts 2. Now this is going to blow your mind. Are you ready for this? So this was the day of Pentecost, when all the disciples and everybody that was there was filled with the Holy Spirit. So it said that the Holy Spirit sat on each one of them. I don't remember being sat upon. Okay, well, maybe. But anyway, they were talking about the people. There were dwelling Jerusalem, Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. And then they were going through all the nations that were speaking in their languages, because everybody was speaking in tongues. So they were mentioning all these different peoples and places, right? And then you get to, and in parts of Libya. What? Libya. Okay, so the first time Libya was a country, they gained independence. For some reason, I don't get the same definition or the same thing I had on my phone when I Googled it. But it was 1951. It was actually December 24th of 1951. And before that, Britain owned Libya, and they renamed it Libya in 1934. Okay, someone might say, maybe they just put Libya in there after they translated it. Okay, well, I can prove that that's not true, because the King James Version was written, or rewritten, I guess, translated in 1611. Over 300 years before Libya was ever used. So, I know it has like Libu. Where is it? Came from Libu, but, there was no actual word of Libya until 1934 at least, but probably not even really used until 1951, when Libya actually gained independence for that country. So it had to be physically changed, because it should say Libu instead of Libya. So this has to be an actual physical Bible change, because there's no way the translation in 1611 would have Libya, because it did not exist. Something very interesting. This is what those people that believe that the rapture already happened, tribulation already happened, 1,000-year reigns already happened, and we're in Satan's little season. listen to this. And it shall come to pass. Okay, first off, let me go into this because Peter was explaining what was going on. For these are not drunken, as ye suppose, seeing it was but the third hour of the day, 3 a.m. But this is that which was spoken by the prophet Joel. And it shall come to pass in the last days, saith God, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. I don't remember it saying that in there, because it's supposed to be for the last days. That hasn't happened yet, but, this might be their argument that it's already happened. But again, with that argument, that means the mark of the beast was back in 70 AD, 100 AD, whatever time it was back then. And the technology was so advanced as it is today, to me, it just doesn't make no sense. And I never ever heard any of the authors of the books of the Bible ever say anything about that they had to choose between the mark of the beast. All right, moving on, verse 23, him being delivered. Why would it say that? Jesus being delivered by him being delivered by the determinate counsel and foreknowledge of God. Yep, and by wicked hands have crucified and slain. So him, instead of saying Jesus, it says him, but determinate. Determinate is having to find limits definitely settled, conclusively. But look at this. First used, 14th century. I like how they got this on here, time traveler. Like, first known use of determinate was in the 14th century. This one, I'm not sure about, but I figured I'd just throw it in there. Verse 24, whom God hath raised up, having loosed the pains of death. I don't know, it just doesn't sound right to me. Because it was not possible that he should be holden of it. More strangeness. Now we're at verse 29. Men and brethren, let me freely speak unto you of the patriarch David. Are we talking about David, the giant killer, King David? That he is both dead and buried, and his sepulchre is with us unto this day. Therefore, being a prophet, was David a prophet? And knowing that God had sworn with an oath to him that of the fruit of his loins, according to the flesh, he would raise up Christ to sit on his throne. David is going to, so he's dead, but somehow he's going to raise up Christ to sit on his throne? What? We must be talking about a different David. He's 31. He's seeing this before, spake of the resurrection of Christ, that a soul was not left in hell, neither his flesh did see corruption. What? This just gets crazier and crazier. Stranger and stranger. 34. For David is not ascended into the heavens, but he saith himself, the Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou on my right hand. Wait a minute. The Lord said unto my Lord. What? The Lord said to himself? The Lord said unto Jesus, sit thou on my right hand? This is crazy. Verse 37. Now when they heard this, they were pricked in their heart. Pricked in their heart. Which I guess means deep emotional and spiritual awakening. Okay, it looks like that is all that is there for changes in chapter 2 of Acts. Except for maybe save yourselves from this untoward generation. I don't know. Anyway, again, more crazy stuff in the Bible changing. Thanks for watching. God bless.